Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's project is a special design requested by my niece from the Philippines. In this video, I'll show you step by step how I made this beautiful beaded purse. If you want to create this design too, stick with me until the end of the video. I already completed one side in advance so I could use it as a guide for the design while working on the other side. Start by cutting the fishing line. Insert the right line into the first hole of the clasp and the left line into the third hole, leaving one hole in between. Make sure both the right and left fishing lines are equal in length. Using the right fishing line, add 3 green beads. On the last bead, create a loop by inserting the right line back through the last bead. Insert the left fishing line through the loop, and gently pull both lines in opposite directions while guiding the beads closer to the clasp. Once the beads are locked and tightened, guide the left fishing line back into the same hole where the last bead is positioned. Next, using the left fishing line, skip one hole and insert it to the next hole. Using the right fishing line, add 2 green beads. Create a loop on the last bead and insert the left fishing line to the loop and lock it. Guide the left fishing line back into the same hole where the last bead is positioned. Next, using the left fishing line, skip one hole and insert it to the next hole. Using the right fishing line, add 2 green beads. Create a loop on the last bead and insert the left fishing line to the loop and lock it. Continue this process until you reach the last set of beads for the first row. For the final set, instead of adding beads on the right fishing line, add 2 green beads on the left fishing line. Create a loop on the last bead and insert the right fishing line through the loop to lock it. Add 3 green beads on the left fishing line. On the last bead, create a loop. Insert the right fishing line through the loop and lock it. Insert the right fishing line through one bead on the right. Using the left line, add 2 green beads. Create a loop and lock with the right line. Insert the right fishing line through one bead on the right. Using the left line, add 2 green beads. Create a loop and lock with the right line. Just continue the same process until we complete 3 rows. On the 4th row, we'll transition into making the body and design of the purse. For the last set of beads, using the right fishing line, insert 2 green beads. Create a loop and lock with the left fishing line. To start with the 3rd row, insert 3 green beads on the right line, create a loop and lock with the left line. Insert the left line to one bead on the left. Using the right line, add 2 green beads, create a loop and lock with the left line. Continue the same process to complete row 3. On the last set of beads, using the left line, add 2 green beads, create a loop, and insert the right line through the loop. I actually added a new line before I locked the last set of beads. I just grab a new line and insert it to the last bead. I made sure the new line are equal in length before locking it. Once the lines are locked, using the new and old left fishing line, add 3 green beads. Using the new fishing line, create a loop by inserting it through the last bead. Just leave the old fishing line to the side. Insert the right new fishing line to the loop and insert the right old fishing line to the last bead. Gently pull both lines in opposite directions to lock the beads in place. If your beads has a wider hole, you can just tuck in the old fishing line. That would be much easier. Since my beads have narrow holes, I add the new lines this way. To continue, insert the new and old right fishing line through one bead on the right. Using the old and new left line, add 2 green beads. Create a loop using the new line, leave the old line to the side for now. Insert the new right line to the loop and the old right line to the last bead. Gently pull both lines in opposite directions to lock the beads in place. Do the same thing on the next set. We begin the transition on the 4th set of beads. Insert the right fishing lines to the 2 beads on the right. Using the left lines, add 1 bead, create a loop and lock with the right lines. Guide the row to bend towards the inside. To continue, insert the right fishing lines through 1 bead on the right. Using the left lines, add 2 beads, create a loop and lock with the right lines. Repeat the same process until you reach the point where it's time to begin the transition. At this stage, you can trim the old fishing lines if you're confident they're already secure. We've now reached the 4th to last set of beads. We will do the transition by inserting the right fishing line to 2 beads on the right. Add 1 bead to the left fishing line, create a loop, and lock with the right line. After transitioning, you can now continue with the regular pattern. The pattern is pretty much the same all the way through, so it can feel a bit repetitive, but you'll get used to it as you go along. At this point, I'm going to start creating the design of the bag. For this project, I'll be using only 3 bead colors: red, green, and clear beads. You can simply follow the design I'm creating or customize it using your own color combination. In this section, a gap appears between the 2 left adjacent beads. This is due to the earlier transition shaping. Insert the left fishing line through both beads to close this gap. Using the right fishing line, add 1 bead, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. Continue with the regular pattern until we reach the gap on the other side. At this point, you will notice the gap between the 2 left adjacent beads. Just insert the left line to both beads. Using the right fishing line, add 1 bead, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. Continue with the regular pattern. You'll notice the same gaps appearing in the remaining rows. Simply close each gap using the same technique as before. Since we're extending the length of the bag, the original fishing line is no longer long enough. I'm attaching a new fishing line to the first bead on the left side, and we'll combine it with the old lines when we reach them. We've now reached the point where we'll combine the new and old fishing lines. Because most of the beads have narrow holes, you may need to gently wiggle the locked bead to help the fishing line pass through. Once the line is through, simply tighten the bead again to secure the lock. I'm adding another fishing line since the previous one is too short. Just follow the same steps we used earlier to add and secure the new line. From here, I'll fast forward the process. The clear beads will serve as the strawberry seeds, so they don't have to be evenly spaced, and you can just place them randomly throughout the red section. The length of the bag is completely up to you, so you can continue the pattern until you reach your desired length. Now let's work on the sides of the bag. One side is already complete, so I'll continue with the other side. Start by inserting a new fishing line through the first bead on the right side. Make sure both ends of the fishing line are equal in length. Add 2 beads to the right line and 1 bead to the left. Loop the right line through the last bead, then insert the left line through the loop to lock them together. Using the left line, add 1 bead, then insert the same line through the next bead on the left side. My camera unfortunately stopped recording the next few steps, so I'll use a clip from another purse that follows the exact same technique. The colors are different, but I'll indicate which colors to use for our strawberry design. Just follow the same steps shown here. To continue, add 1 green bead to the left line. Create a loop by passing the left line back through the bead, insert the right line through the loop and lock it. Next, insert the left line through the next bead on the left side. Using the left line, add 2 green beads, create a loop, then lock it with the right line. Next, insert the right line through the 2 beads on the right side. Using the left line, add 1 green bead, create a loop using the same line and lock it with the right line. Next, pass the right line through the next bead on the right side. Using the right line, add 1 red bead followed by 1 green bead. Create a loop and lock it with the left line. Next, insert the left line to the 2 beads on the left. Using the right line, add 1 red bead, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. Next, insert the left line to the next bead on the left. Using the left line, add 2 red beads, create a loop, and lock it with the right line. Insert the right line to the 2 beads on the right. Using the left line, add 1 red bead, create a loop, and lock it with the right line. The red and green dots on the right will guide you on which bead colors to use. Now that we've covered the missing steps using this reference clip, we can continue where we left off with the actual bag design and colors. Insert the right line to 1 bead on the right. Using the right line, add 2 red beads, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. Insert the left line to the 2 beads on the left. Using the right line, add 1 red bead, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. Insert the left line to 1 bead on the left. Continue following the same steps. From this point forward, we'll use only red beads as we continue the pattern. Once you've completed all 4 sides, don't cut the excess fishing lines. We'll need them later to connect with the new lines and secure the bag together. Before we start working on the bottom of the bag, first locate the 4 corners of the bag. We can now start creating the bottom of the bag. To continue, we'll use the same fishing lines. Add 3 beads to the right line, create a loop, then lock it with the left line. Insert the left line to 1 bead on the left. Using the right line, add 2 beads and create a loop. Insert the left line through the loop, but don't tighten it yet. You'll notice the excess line from the other side of the bag. To connect them, pass that excess line through the last bead where the loop is formed. Then tighten the lines to secure everything together. Watch closely as I demonstrate this step so you can see how the lines are connected. Insert the left line through the next bead on the left side. If the bead hole is too narrow, gently wiggle the locked bead to loosen it slightly, then pass the line through. Once the line is through, tighten the bead again to lock it back in place. Using the right lines, add 2 beads and create a loop with the new line. Leave the old line aside for now. Insert the new left fishing line through the loop. Then, pass the old fishing line through the last bead where the loop is formed. Gently pull the lines in opposite directions to tighten and lock them securely in place. Once we reach the first corner, we'll transition to forming the bottom of the bag. Pass the left fishing lines through the 2 beads on the left side. Using the right lines, add 1 bead. Create a loop and lock it with the left lines. As you tighten the lines, gently guide the bead inward to begin forming the bottom of the bag. Continue with the regular pattern and apply the same transition technique at each remaining corner. When you reach the existing lines on each side, use the same technique as before to combine them with the new lines. You can continue following along with the video, but I'll fast forward this part since we'll be repeating the same steps. This is the second corner, so apply the same transition technique we used earlier. Insert the left line to the 2 beads on the left. Using the right line, add 1 bead, create a loop, and lock with the left line. Next, continue with the regular pattern until we reach the next corner. Insert the left fishing line through 1 bead on the left. Using the right fishing line, add 2 beads and create a loop. You'll also notice some existing fishing lines from this side of the bag. I'll use the same technique as before to combine them with the new lines. Once you pass the left line through the loop, insert the existing line through the last bead where the loop was formed, and lock it. You may notice that I loosened the existing locked line. This allows me to pass the left fishing line through the bead where the lock was placed. Once the line is through, we can secure it again. To continue using the right lines, add 2 beads. Create a loop by inserting the new right line through the last bead and leave the old line to the side for now. Insert the new left line through the loop and insert the old left line through the last bead and lock them. Sometimes the existing lines from 2 sides will meet just like they do here. Follow the same technique as before, but this part can be a little tricky because you'll need to pass 3 fishing lines through the same bead hole. Follow along with the video to see exactly how I do it. Since we're working with 3 lines on each sides, it helps to make each line a different length so they're easier to identify. The new line will be the longest, the next line slightly shorter, and the last line the shortest. You can trim them slightly to create these length differences and easily tell which line is which. Continue by inserting both left lines through 1 bead on the left. Using the right lines, add 2 beads. Create a loop by inserting the new right line through the last bead and leave the old line to the side for now. Insert the new left line through the loop and the old lines through the last bead where the loop was formed. Loosen the existing locked line to make enough space to pass the left fishing lines through the same bead hole. Once the lines are through, we can secure it again. Once everything is secured, keep the longest and shortest lines, then cut the slightly shorter line. To continue, add 2 beads to the right lines. Create a loop by inserting the new right line through the last bead and leave the old line to the side for now. Insert the new left line through the loop, then pass the old left line through the last bead where the loop was formed. Gently pull the lines to lock everything securely in place. Next, we've reached the third corner. Pass the left fishing lines through the 2 beads on the left side. Using the right lines, add 1 bead. Create a loop by inserting the new right line through the last bead and leave the old line to the side. Insert the new left line through the loop, then pass the old left line through the last bead where the loop was formed. Gently pull the lines to lock everything securely in place. From here, we'll continue with the regular pattern until we reach the last corner. I'll fast forward this part. We've reached the last corner. Pass the left fishing line through the 2 beads on the left side. Using the right line, add one bead, create a loop, and lock with the left line. Since this is the last corner, we'll need to close the gap created by the transition. Insert the left line through the 2 beads on the left. Using the right line, add one bead, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. Insert the right line through one bead on the right. Using the right line, add 2 beads, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. Apply the regular pattern until you reach the corner where the gap appears. To fill in the gap, insert the left line through the 2 beads on the left. Using the right line, add one bead, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. Insert the left line through one bead on the left. Using the right line, add 2 beads, create a loop, and lock it with the left line. From this point, the pattern simply repeats, so continue following the same steps until we complete the bottom of the bag. If the line is not enough, you can simply add a new line and apply the same technique before. We've now reached the final part, where we'll close the remaining gaps to complete the bottom of the bag. This is the easiest part, so just follow along with the video. Once you reach the point where the two lines meet, simply tie them together securely. After tying, pass the lines through any nearby bead where they fit. This helps minimize traces of excess lines. Once it is secured, you can cut off the remaining lines. And there we have it, we've completed the entire bag. Let's take a closer look at the finished piece and see how everything came together. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe to support my channel and stay updated on my upcoming beading projects. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next beading session.